Earlier this year, United Airlines said it had made a deal with Delta Airlines. Now, as part of the deal, United would give Delta all of its takeoff and landing slots at New York's JFK Airport. In return, Delta would give United 24 of its slots at New Jersey's Newark Airport. But today, the Justice Department said not so fast. Kris Van Cleave is in our Washington newsroom to break it down for us. Kris, why doesn't the DOJ like this trade?
Well, the Department of Justice says that the trade is anti-competitive because it essentially would allow United to consolidate its flights out of Newark, where it already holds 73% of the departures and takeoffs. They control what are known as slots, which are basically, because the traffic is so heavy at New York area airports, they're slot controlled, meaning the FAA says you can only have so many takeoffs or landings. So a slot is essentially one takeoff or landing position. So this trade would allow United, which already holds 73% of the slots at Newark, to have even more slots. Now, they're pulling out of JFK altogether, and they want to base all of their flights out of Newark. Then the flights that they're giving up would go to Delta, who is essentially would also be consolidating more at JFK. But what the Department of Transportation and the Department of Justice in particular were concerned about here is they argue that this isn't competitive, that there maybe could be a better use of these 24 slots than just giving them to United and allowing United to dominate traffic in and out of Newark.
So this news, Kris, comes as many are thinking about buying tickets for holiday travel, and we're just weeks away from one of the busiest travel days of the year. So how drastically might this decision affect prices?
Well, so this also comes as several smaller carriers, Alaska Airlines, Spirit, Frontier, Allegiant, carriers that are known for bringing down prices in markets they enter, are petitioning the Department of Transportation to reevaluate how swaps are done. On top of and how slots are distributed. On top of the slots that United uses every day out of Newark, they have about 80 they don't use that just sit, and that's more than any of their competitors even have to operate out of Newark. So what happens when you open up slots and give them to discount carriers like a Southwest or a JetBlue, Allegiant, a Spirit? Well, this might not surprise you, but as there's competition on routes, prices come down. Back when the United Continental merger happened in 2010, they had to get rid of about 36 slots at Newark Airport, and the Department of Justice pointed out those went to Southwest, and on the routes that were added, prices dropped as much as 27%, and traffic went up as much as 66%. So the bottom line for flyers, if some of these slots were to, say, go to auction, they'd likely get sold to discount carriers, and that could mean prices come down on select routes. But, you know, this is a profit center for United Airlines. They make a lot of money out of Newark, just like Delta makes a lot of money out of JFK. So United's going to fight this. United believes that there is plenty of competition between the three airports and that they can effectively serve customers by consolidating into Newark. So expect this one to potentially go to court.
To be continued. Kris Van Cleave in our Washington bureau. Kris, thank you.
Sure thing.